Basically, a shaman is a harmonizer and healer. There's a lot of different styles that are involved in healing practices, and not all healers are shamans, just like not all Wiccans are witches and not all witches are Wiccan. But basically, a shaman is someone who is able to access the different dimensions, the different levels of consciousness, and through that connection bring a person back into wholeness. Sometimes that means mental wholeness, sometimes emotional, sometimes spiritual, sometimes physical wholeness. So it really doesn't matter on what level a person's discomfort or dis-ease is located. It's just a matter of figuring out which level of consciousness we need to access in order to draw out what needs to be released, and then bring in fresh energy to fill that space, to create more healing in that zone. I work with crystals, with drums, with rattles, with chant, with breath. I work with journeying, helping people to go deep within, to find their own inner strength, their own inner answers, their own inner resolve. And sometimes that will look like sitting down, talking with a person, guiding them through the process. Sometimes they're more passive in that they're laying out on a massage table while I'm working with their energy system. And they're accessing the things very organically, very spontaneously, as I'm doing my drumming or my chanting or my laying on of hands to channel energy into a particular area. There's a few scenarios that are involved in that. One is that the person is someone who tends to lean a little more toward the mystical aspects of life than the concrete aspects of life. Then there's the people who have tried all the concrete things on their healing journey and are now at the stage where they're wanting to visit wisdoms from very long ago that they know helped people. So shamanism is something that comes up on their journey, and they find that it's something that they're just drawn to. It resonates within them. And so that's why they start looking. A lot of people start their quest in looking, trying to learn about what it is, which is good because you need to do your research. Some also then start wanting to explore different traditions and practices in hopes of becoming a shaman, and not necessarily recognizing that not everybody is cut out for that kind of work. And then most are the ones that really want to do the deep healing work with themselves, the things that will touch them on a deep soul level to help transform them from within. In order to understand soul retrieval, we need to understand a basic concept. The spirit and the soul are two different energies, two different entities within us and around us. Current spiritual religious belief would have you think that you only have one soul, that it's synonymous with your spirit. And I would not agree with that, because in my practices and training, I've had it shown to me that we have a spirit that is eternally connected to the creative force, whatever you choose to call that creative force. And that connection can never be severed in any way. But the soul energy is more primal, and it's also more fragile. And it evolves to become spirit energy. So our bodies are temples in which many soul energies reside, and through which our spirit, which is more like an umbrella, can express itself. Understanding that concept, we then go into what is soul retrieval? Why is it needed? And that is because through things like traumas, injuries, accidents, even arguments, illnesses, we can sometimes have our soul energies move outside of our bodies because it's too painful to be in the temple that's having this go on. Now, 98% of the time, that soul energy, once the trauma is done, once the illness is finished, once the injury is cured, it steps back into the temple on its own, no problems whatsoever. And then there's that 2%, which is more problematic because when it stepped out, it got attached to a place, a person, a time, a dimension. It got earthbound in some way, and it can't get back home. So when a person is experiencing soul loss, they need to get those energies, those soul energies that are theirs back home. Now, there are some traditions whereby any soul energy is good enough, just fill up the space. So they could take the soul energy off of a dog or something and shove it in there, and to them that is soul retrieval. To me that's substitution, and it lacks. You need to be able to track that person's soul energy because there are threads of energy that will lead you straight to where those soul energies are, wherever they are trapped. And then you take them from there into the light so that they can heal and purify. And from there, in their pure healed state, they're brought back to the temple. And as they're brought back to the temple, yes, sometimes they bring back the memory of the moment that they left, because that's the reason I left home. And so from there, there's understanding, oh yes, this happened. And so now I get it. I'm going to try and work on that issue as well. And so it becomes a constructive form of, this is the weave we have woven in the past. It led to soul loss. How can we weave this better so it leads to soul integration all the time? Simple cases. They just don't feel whole. Fulfilled. Yeah. Going a little further into soul loss, there can be sadness, sorrow, depression. Going a little further into soul loss, there can be a breakdown of an organ, for example. Going further into soul loss, there can become suicidal tendencies. If a person loses enough soul energy, they become what some call skinwalkers, which are soulless beings. Okay? Think about that for a moment. Soulless beings. That's a difficult one to wrap a head around.
Most definitely.
And yet, it's also diagnosed in other ways, such as sociopathy, psychopathy, things like that. The people who are sociopaths, psychopaths, quite often have lost so many soul energies that they don't know who they are. They can't even connect on a heart level to another human being. And so, through soul retrieval, these individuals can actually find wholeness again, can actually reconnect to their humanity. That isn't to say that instantly they are healed. They still have to heal from the trauma of whatever they have done as a sociopath or a psychopath. But from there, from a place where they have soul energy to draw on for that healing, it's a lot easier task to do. When skinwalkers walk among us, there's a certain extremely low vibration that if people are perceptible enough, they can sense. And it can be kind of like when there's an undercurrent underneath the current flow of the river. You can sense it sometimes. You can certainly get swept away by it if you're not careful. And sometimes it's more like the rumbling underneath the floorboards of your home as a big truck goes by 2 blocks down. And sometimes it'll feel more like a subtle earthquake is happening. So it's because of the low vibration. It doesn't make it less powerful. It just means that it's a lower vibration and therefore more unpredictable. Shamanic practice is at the foundation of every other spiritual and religious practice. It's more of a direct connection to the Creator, a direct connection to nature, a direct connection to spirit. It's a resonance within, so that you know instinctually what is proper behavior, what is proper conduct. We don't need to be told what it is. We don't need to be told thou shalt this or thou shalt not that. We know what is right for us.
Teachings are that first of all you learn the medicine wheels, then you start to work with the wheels, and then this wonderful point happens where things flip over and the wheels start working and spinning you. And the aim we're going for is to become spinning wheels, becoming medicine wheels, turning, able to move round the circle of life, experiencing all the different places there are to be, and the different energies there are in the world around us. Because everything outside of us is a symbol and a mirror of what's inside. Emotions. We all have fear, anger, sadness, joy, and stillness. They're all emotional gifts given to us. And somebody who is healthy emotionally just flows. When we're emotionally unhealthy, we get stuck in certain emotions and won't do others. To not do sadness, to not do grief is unhealthy. There's this very new age kind of enlightened way of being where I don't get upset about anything, I don't get angry about anything. Come down to earth, flow. Everybody gets angry. Everybody needs to learn to maintain their boundaries. So water teaches us how to have our energy in motion, emotion. Emotionality is where you get stuck, where you can't cry or you can't stop crying, where you can't laugh or you can't stop laughing. Are your emotions free? If not, don't listen to human beings. Go swimming, go paddling, go and visit the sea, go for a walk in the woods. And the energy of water or the energy of the plants will teach you how to free up your emotions. The earth teaches us how to be in our physical bodies. Look at the way the earth, with gravity, just holds us to her. Yeah, we can jump a bit, we can launch ourselves into space if we use a lot of energy, but there's this thing called gravity which very gently holds us on the earth. The earth teaches us how to hold our spirits in our physical bodies, how to stay grounded, how to be present. Most of us, because of our culture, don't know how to be present. We're humans doing, we're humans thinking, but humans being isn't an option. That we get mirrored very often as a choice. The air in the north The air shows us how to use our minds. All meditation technique is about using breath so that you can empty your mind. This idea that we need to make our minds up and remember loads of stuff is complete nonsense. All the information we could possibly need is out there in the morphogenetic field, the collective consciousness. If we're open, it comes towards us. It's good if you keep open rather than deciding. And then whatever you need will come towards you. Keep your mind like a parachute. It works best open. Belief systems that are closed are called religions. There is more war, strife, problems caused through people's belief systems than anything else on this planet. So, air teaches us to keep moving, keep opening. Fire. The element of fire. It teaches us about spirit. Spirit is the life force energy, the unique configuration of life force energy that is me, that resides in this physical body. And when I'm in touch with that, I've got spirit. I am spirit. And I'm spirited. I'm passionate about it. Whatever it is. You are who you are. The great spirit, the great mystery, the creator, the creatress, God, the goddess, whatever word you want to give that energy, created you just the way you are. Because that energy wanted to express itself exactly that way in you. So do it. Let it happen. Surrender to it. Let your fire come out.